Okay. All right. It is now 9:12 a.m. on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, and I call to order this meeting of the Maine Gambling Control Board. My name is Steve Silver. I am the board chair. Before we go any further, I'll just explain the circumstances under which we're holding this meeting. This is a hybrid meeting, so the physical location is at 45 Commerce Drive in the Fallen Heroes Room. There's also a virtual attendance option via Zoom for both the public and board members um, in accordance with the board member remote participation policy adopted back in July of 2021. The board expects that members of the public who attend the board meeting virtually will be able to provide public comment to the same extent as members of the public who attend in person. Gambling Control Unit, on behalf of the board, also posts notices of this meeting with the agenda and instructions on how to access the meeting on its website in advance of the meeting. We certainly hope if you're interested in the meetings and the agendas that you're receiving them. If not, contact Director Champion and he'll get you set up with that. So at this time, I'll introduce the other board members and confirm that we have a quorum. So when I call your name, please identify yourself, where you're from in Maine. I'll start with you, Chief March.
Good morning, everyone. Noel March. I live in Hamden, Maine.
Ms. Maine Boynton.
Darcy Maine Boynton, and also Hamden, Maine.
Mr. Hanslip.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Hanslip from Sanford, Maine.
Ms. Bickmore.
Everyone, Kelly Bickmore, Cape Elizabeth, Maine, and I actually have a new name. My new last name is McCusick.
Okay. McCusick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm Steve Silver from South Portland. So we'll jump right in. First up is approval of minutes from the October 28th, 2025 meeting. Any edits or questions, comments on the? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All right. Let's take a roll call vote. Ms. Maine Boynton.
Yes.
Ms. McCusick.
I.
Mr. Hanslip.
Aye.
All right, Chief March. An aye as well. We get those approved. With that, we'll turn over to Deputy Director Motti for the operations report.
Morning. I'm Deputy Director Matthew Motti. This is the operation report for December 16th, 2025. Operations in October were 11 shipments of machines and associated equipment shipped to and from facilities. In November, there were 15. There were 83 work orders completed in October, 81 in November, which ranged anywhere from new game installs, removals, change of themes, operations, and communication issues. There were 94 entries into the inspector pass on log in October and 58 in November to share information not only from within the facilities, but also between the facilities. In October, there were 2 formal complaints. In November, there were 3 with status updates reported in the complaint dashboard. 13 consent agreements are being completed by the Assistant Attorney Generals, 2 under review by the Investigation Committee, 4 under review by the Complaint Committee, 1 dismissed for insufficient gravity to warrant formal investigation, and 3 are being responded to by the facilities. 2 being added to similar complaints, 1 deferred to the board for review, and 1 under investigation. There were 2 patron complaints. Self-exclusions for August and September, there were 18 1 year, and October and November, there were 10. In August and September, there were 3 3 years, and October and November, there were 4 3 years. August and September, there were 3 5 years. In October and November, there were 3 5 years. There were 5 lifetimes in August and September, and 7 lifetimes in October and November. Totaling in August and September, there were 29 total and 24 total in October and November. Total as of 2025 in September were 109 1 year, and in November there were 104 1 year. In September there were 41 3 years. In November there were 43 3 years. 70 5 years in September and 71 5 years in November. There were 278 lifetime in September and 281 lifetime in November. The total for the year in September was 498 and 499 at the end of November. Lori Manson from ADAPT gave the following information regarding calls to 211 for over October and November of 25. Total helpline calls in October were 95 and November were 89, totaling 184. Calls entered into the client database system were 56 in October and 56 in November, totaling 112. Problem gambling intakes were 7 in October, 19 in November, and the total was 26. Calls from problem gamblers was 7 in October, 17 in November, totaling 24. Calls from all others, October there were 0, 2 in November, totaling 2. Males called were 4 in October and 13 in November, 17 total. And female calls was 1 in October and 5 in November, totaling 6. Military veterans, there were 0 calls in October and November. By age range, 18 to 24, there was 1 in October, 2 in November, 3 total. 25 to 34, there was 1 in October, 6 in November, totaling 7. 35 to 44, there was 1 in October, 0 in November, the total was 1. 45 to 54, there was 1 in October, 2 in November, 3 total. 55 to 64, there were none for October or November. 65 and over, there was 1 in October, 3 in November, totaling 4. Those of unknown age was 2 in October, 6 in November, totaling 8. Casino, there was 1 in November, 1 in October, 6 in November, totaling 7. Lottery, there were 0 in October, 2 in November, total was 2. Sports wagering, 1 in October, 4 in November, total was 5. And online gambling, there was 2 in October, 3 in November, totaling 5. All others, there were 2 in October, 5 in November, and total was 7. Oxford PD reported 30 calls in October and November of 25, some of which were 3 illegal activity, 6 risk management issues, 7 medical, 5 suspicious activity, 4 possible intoxication, and 3 potential driving under the influence. Bangor PD reported 25 calls in October and November of 25, some of which were 4 calls under the influence, 5 welfare checks, 3 informational, 3 thefts, 3 open line 911 calls, 1 assault, 1 harassment, and 4 miscellaneous. And that is the operation report for December 6th, 2025.
Thank you. Any questions for Deputy Director Motti? Okay, thanks. With that, we will turn over to our financial report with Auditor Alex Juta.
Good morning. My report will cover October and November 2025. Tax revenue collected from both casinos to state of Maine increased by 3.34%, or by $190,433 in October 2025, and increased by 3.94%, or by $211,299 in November 2025, compared to the same month in 2024. Total tax revenue collected from both casinos so far during 2025 was $64,093,839, which is an increase of 3.22%, or $2,002,331 compared to the prior year. Specifically by casino, Oxford Casino reported total net win from slot machines of 7.27%, and total win from table games of 22.78% for October 2025, and total net win from slot machines of 7.72%, and total win from table games of 21.26% for November 2025. Total Casino reported total net win from slot machines of 8.42%, and a total win from table games of 20.28% for October 25, and total net win from slot machines of 8.08%, and total win from table games of 25.77% for November 25. In the area of advanced deposit wagering, revenue increased by 69.2%, or by $10,292 in October 2025, and increased by 60.2%, or by $9,720 in November 25, compared to the same month last year. Total tax revenue collected from both out-of-state and in-state races so far this year was $294,485, which is an increase of 50.1%, or $98,287 from same time last year. And that's it for my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Ryder, don't you up? Just one question, Alex. Both in October and November, it shows like $100 and some for electronic table game revenue in that chart for Hollywood.
Mhm.
I don't know where that, why that, there's like a balance.
Yeah, because that's basically because we have unclaimed tickets.
Okay,
And we have to carry for a year. So
got
that's
it.
the reason why.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll turn over to Executive Director Champion for his report.
All right, I guess let me start off before my report and say with the financial report. Actually, November was the first month for us to have positive revenue in all areas. So ADW, sports wagering, charitable, casino, all had increases or the percentage of increase year to year. So November was an extremely good month for us. And I'm anticipating the fantasy, that's reported once a year. And I'm anticipating we've had a couple extra operators in the fantasy area, so our revenue is going to increase there as well.
When will that come in?
Pardon?
What month will that come in, or
That'll be in January of 26 for previous year.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's on an annual basis.
Mhm.
In fact, when I first became the executive director in 2016, I think with two casinos, we reported $56 million in revenue, and it looks like we're going to report this year for 2025 somewhere in the neighborhood of 72 to 73 million. So just to give you a little bit of good news. Okay, with that said, good morning, everybody. A rulemaking update. We had Chapter 19A, which is the certification of laboratories for slot machines and other devices. That was adopted on October 29th, 2025. Chapter 5, Appendix A, for GAT requirement and federal threshold reporting of slot wins. We will be holding a public hearing this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Written comments will be due January 16th, 2026 on that, those changes. Legislative update, we have an agency bill in, LD 2007. This bill clarifies that operator promoting an online sweepstakes game constitutes unlawful gambling within the meaning of the Maine Criminal Code and establishes additional civil penalties related to that unlawful conduct. The bill impacts online games or contests that use a dual currency system of payment and that simulate casino style gaming, including but not limited to slot machines, poker, other table games, lottery games, bingo, or sports wagering. Dual currency systems payment refers to a practice of using more than one system of coins or tokens to facilitate gameplay and is further defined in the bill. The bill provides that a person that operates or promotes an online sweepstakes game is subject to a fine of not less than $10,000 and not more than $100,000. The bill requires that all fines collected and distributed are distributed to Gambling Addiction Prevention and Treatment Fund. Under the bill, if a person is found to operate or promote online sweepstakes game and that person holds a license with the Gambling Control Unit or the Gambling Control Board within the Department of Public Safety to operate certain gambling activities, the licensing entity will have their license revoked. A person that violates the online sweepstakes games prohibition is also ineligible to receive one of the licenses specified by the bill, which is obviously casino, ADW, fantasy sports, and even charitable gaming. Please feel free to track any bills before the VLA committee regarding gambling during the next session easily by looking on our website under the tab Bill Tracker for the latest information during the session. And finally, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year. That's my report.
Thank you. I was just going to say the bill tracker. So did you add that, Deputy Director? It's awesome. Really good resource. It has a link right to the text of these bills with a summary and the status. So a really nice resource because it is difficult to search what's going on in Maine across multiple committees. So good resource. Any questions for Director Champion? No. Sure, you're about to be very busy. The legislature comes back. So.
Yeah, we'll see what's coming out. I do have another agency bill in under fantasy, and that's just in regards to directors, shareholders, and that sort of thing to submit a personal history disclosure and application, which they haven't had to previously. And what we're finding in that bill is that there's a lot of international companies acquisition taking over local companies and operating inside the U.S. So we just felt it necessary in order for us to do a complete background check in those applications. So that's the only other bill that we have, and of course we'll see what else comes out of the process.
Yep. Where are we here? Sort of what is Maine doing in terms of prediction markets? I saw one operator start advertising in Maine that they're launching. Now they're not licensed as far as I know.
Yeah, we've been having a little bit of discussion. I've been forwarding as much information as I can to the commissioner and the assistant attorney generals for the unit and the board, just to kind of keep them up to stuff on what's going on. Obviously, this is, again, something new, just like sweepstakes, just like sports wagering was when that first came out. But we've had some meetings with our licensees in this regard. And I think, but I don't want to say, this is not my expert opinion because I'm not an attorney, but I think this is all falling under federal guidelines, which technically makes it hard for states to deal with this right now. Some states are, I think Michigan, Pennsylvania, there's like a handful of other states that have taken this on a little bit, but I don't see it as anything that we could do from a state standpoint. The meetings that I did have with our licensees is they're not going to offer any predictions on sports wagering. But they said because they're registered with the the broker association or whatever, that they have the ability. So that's kind of where it's at right now. That's, where sweepstakes was the big discussion in 25. Obviously predictions is going to be the discussion for 26. So, but we're monitoring it, and I'm pushing all the information that I get, see, to my superiors. So.
Any other questions for Director Champion? Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on, we've got a couple license renewals. Bill, before we start, a question for you. The first one, NRT, I noticed that they did not fully complete the application. There's a part on the form that asks them for a description of what they're going to offer in Maine, and it's like, my preference would be to table it and have them complete it unless you. I just don't think we should have to go do the research as to what they're offering.
Yeah, and I noticed that when I started moving the applications over, and it was probably something that was overlooked. We've been going through it. It's not a good excuse, but we've been going through a transition with a promotion internally to oversee more licensing. And then, of course, we lost Donnie, Donnie Armstrong, who has since retired. So through that transition, we're trying to play catch up and everything else. But I did make a notation from their previous renewal that as to what they actually do now. Again, if you want to table it, I'll have them resubmit that and make sure.
When was the last renewal? Last year.
Previous year, yeah, they provide ticket redemption, kiosk, ATMs, point of sales, or related services like check cashing.
Okay. So, I think just because in the updated form, there's not a lot that they have to do. So
You're exactly right. Yes,
if it's blank, kick it back.
I agree.
And it shouldn't be on you or your staff to go research it or look up what they did in the past. If they want the license, they can do that. So, but we'll go ahead.
Well, under Title V, they can continue to operate until we make a decision. So if you want to table it, we can table it until February.
Yeah, if that's what they did on the last one, I don't know. I want to know what they're going to offer moving forward. A lot of these companies provide a lot of different services, so I don't know exactly what it is they're going to do in Maine. So if they continue to operate, that's fine. We'll get to it next meeting. That's good. Other board members may feel differently, but time is the advantage. I'd move to table after the board meeting. All right, so Chief March has moved to table the renewal application of NRT. A second. Thank you. All right, let's take a quick vote. Ms. May Boynton.
Aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslett. All right, Chief March. Aye. I'm an aye as well. All right, so we'll just table that, ask them to fill it out. All right. All right, with that, we do have another renewal licensure. This is for gambling services vendor renewal of Pavilion Payments Gaming Services. And we're reviewing the application of Pavilion Payments Gaming Services to be licensed, renew their license pursuant to 8 MRSA Section 1000 sec. It's not an adjudicatory proceeding. Instead, we'll receive an opinion from board staff supported by evidence obtained during an investigation. We'll also provide each applicant, as well as the public, an opportunity to be heard. So for each application, the board members have materials for the application. If anyone wants the public portions of those materials, please contact Director Champion, and he'll get those to you. Anyone here on behalf of Pavilion Payments? I think so. Okay, before we proceed I'm sure one of our assistant attorney generals has questions for.
I'll do it, but first, can we just clarify whether Mr. Hanslip, did we lose him? Is he still on?
He's
meeting?
muted, but he's still on there. His
Okay,
camera's on, but he's muted.
okay. So when we go to take a vote,
He just unmuted.
okay, all right. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear as close. Okay, so I will just do the initial. Perfect. Do the initial questions. Does any member of the board have any reasons such as personal bias or a conflict of interest that would prevent him or her from rendering an impartial decision in this matter? No. And those of you online?
No,
Okay, thank you. And does any person present at this meeting does any other person present at this meeting believe that there is any reason that would prevent any board member from rendering an impartial decision on this matter? Or does any other person present at the meeting have objections to any pre-meeting proceedings? If so, please stand, state your name for the record, and state your objection and the basis of that objection. Okay, see no objections. Please proceed.
All right. All right, seeing as there's no representative from Pavilion Payments, just ask Director Champion, do you have any additional information from the sheriff board?
No.
Okay. All right, what is the recommendation of the board regarding this application?
Renew.
Any questions for Director Champion? Okay, any public comment on this application? In the room or on Zoom? All right. Okay, is there a motion on the application of Pavilion Payments Gaming Services, Inc. For their service vendor license renewal?
I move to approve.
All right. I'll second it. Let's take a vote. Ms. Van Boyden. Aye. Chief Marsh. Aye. Ms. McHuston.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslett.
aye,
All right. And I as well. So, having met all the requirements licensed pursuant to Title 8, Chapter 31, Pavilion Payments Gaming Services, Inc. Will continue to be licensed as a gaming services vendor in the state of Maine. Of course, we thank them for their continued desire to do business in Maine.
Before we move on, I just recommend, now that we have Mr. Hanslip on and we can see and hear him, I'd recommend that you redo the vote on tabling of the first application. Because he's appearing remotely, the roll call vote is supposed to be visual and oral. So just want to make
Well,
sure.
do we need it? Can it just be the abstain? We had 4
Sure.
the affirmative. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make that in the minutes. I don't think anyone's gonna mind. All right. All right, so we have no unfinished business. We've got 2 new business involving independent laboratory certifications. Bill, I don't know if you want to sort of explain where we're at with those.
Tee it up, yes. So along with the adoption of 19A, part of that rulemaking process, we established an application. Even though we know that GLI, Gaming Laboratories International, and BMM have been certifying devices for the state of Maine since inception, or since we started casino gambling back in 2004. But the board decided that, well, they wanted to make sure that we had an application should anyone other than GLI or BMM want to apply to be a service or be a certified laboratory, that there would be an application process. So that was done. GLI completed their application, BMM completed theirs. And I got to tell you, they were done very, very professional. I wish every entity would submit their applications in the way that both of these companies did. I did check each and every one. I added a checklist of what we look for in the application. And I looked at it personally and signed off on it on December the 4th and 5th. And, yeah, I recommend that they continue to be, approved as a certified laboratory for the state of Maine.
And I'll add, so we have the checklist. You can see there's a lot of information. If there's anything specific the board member wants to see, Bill will get that to you.
Yes.
But I told him put the checklist in so you can see what each entity had to go through. And of course, we're familiar with them historically, but part of this is for the process moving forward, or in the future, there may be other entities that want to do this work. And we felt, we should establish a process that we're not just using, one or two. So if this is the process moving forward to get certified. Do you need anything from us?
Just your approval,
Okay, approving exactly.
them as officially certified labs for the state of Maine.
Should we take them separately? GLI and BMM, they're two separate
Yes.
companies. All right, so the first would be to approve Gaming Laboratory International as a certified independent testing laboratory. Is that correct?
So move to approve GLI.
All right, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, let's take a vote. Ms. Main Boynton.
Aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslip.
Aye.
Chief March.
Aye.
An aye as well. All right, then next would be motion to approve BMM North America Inc. as a certified independent testing laboratory.
So,
Second.
Thank you. All right, we will take a vote. Ms. Main Boynton.
aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslip.
Aye.
Chief March.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. So both of them will be certified, and again, thank them for their thorough applications. There's a lot of information that we requested, they provided. So with that, first up, there's a board review of a complaint. The number is GCB 2025-127. Bill, I don't know if you want to intro this or you want me to, but
Either or.
so
Yeah.
so in here, and you can correct me if I skip anything, but you'll see there's notice of complaint. There's a response from the licensee. The issue, my understanding as to why it's sort of in front of us is for the board to determine. Well, I suppose there could be a penalty, but if this issue with the keys that left the facility, if the facility has to rekey everything or have some other violation. Bill, is that what you're sort of looking for?
Yeah, specifically in the rule, I believe it states that the board has the option to require that the facility rekey in cases like this. So that's why I want to bring it before the board. If you're going to defer it back to the unit for maybe some other type of disciplinary action, then we'll put it through the normal course, which would be the investigative committee up to the complaint committee.
Does the licensee mind being identified so I can ask you a question? All right. So, so Matt, I appreciate the response, sort of detailing, what happened. It sounds like also there's a new change to the system that will activate the alarm.
Yeah, the alarm had become unplugged,
Right.
and so it did not have the power, so the keys passed, it did not activate. It's an audible alarm, so this is kind of new to us, and we did find that when the alarm loses power, there's a setting that will send out emails. So we were able to rectify that moving forward, we hope.
Yeah. And my understanding is the actual individual, there was a medical emergency left, didn't realize that, it sounds like you were able to get in contact with.
They needed to go home and take medication.
Okay.
They were able to come back. Let's close touch.
But what would happen, so if this happened, the thing wasn't unplugged, like what happens?
The alarm will go off, and it's quite loud. It will activate surveillance and security as well.
And then what are they supposed to do?
They would normally stop at that point, return with a medical emergency, depending on the seriousness of that, like that different scenario.
But so they would stop and give, what are they?
Yeah, they would return the keys.
Okay. All right. And I think it was in your response or in the complaint. What was the total time? Like an hour or something?
I believe it was less than an hour.
So let me ask you this. Do you have a ballpark idea of how much it costs to rekey? It doesn't sound cheap.
For slot machines, you're talking nearly 1,000 keys. Those keys are in thousands of dollars for sure.
Yeah. So, well, let me ask, other board members have questions?
Well, I had a question just going forward. Is there any way that somebody could exploit the issue of it being unplugged in the future? That somebody could fake an incident, I guess, and unplug a system to allow this to happen?
With the power, I believe we resolved that with the emails. It loses power. It will immediately send out emails. Quite frankly, the way technology and everything is these days, I'm not sure you need to leave the building if you have nefarious intent.
Yeah, it sounds like whether it's a power failure or an manual unplugging, multiple people are going to get notified immediately. Okay.
And these
And is there
keys were
camera?
not to the bill validators.
Yeah. And is there camera coverage of where this is plugged in?
Not in the room where it's plugged in, but it has been better secured. I will.
Yeah, I mean, my inclination is that to not have you rekey. It seems like this is a one-off incident that actually may have been a good thing because it showed you a weakness that's been rectified. Doesn't appear there was any loss or certainly any nefarious purpose from this employee. So that would be that's how I would lean. And this was self-reported?
Yes.
Okay. Is there something we can provide that we don't like letters of guidance that that's
So if you find there has been a violation, but you don't believe that it's or warrants disciplinary action. You should let it.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm leaning. So less than a warning, but
It's not discipline.
yeah, we know what happened. I'd like to have that way. If there's going to be future board members. Not that this is going to be a repeat thing, but there'd be some documentation of it. There was a violation. I don't think it warrants discipline. So that would be where I'm leaning in terms of what do we call it? Letter of guidance.
Actually,
I know we've done it in the past.
yeah, it's been a while. The guidance.
That's it. You don't need to rekey. But if other board members feel different, tell me. Okay. All right. So.
And also it'd be good, and oddly, as it's pursuant to 8 MRS 1053 sub 4, all letters of guidance or concern. So they're interchangeable. They should not exceed 10 years if the court specify how long one. That's better.
I would do it for a year. Doesn't seem like a situation that's going to repeat itself, but if by chance it did, or this individual was plotting something, then we would know about it, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. So I think the motion would be to issue a letter of concern, letter of guidance, or call it a letter of concern for 1 year. No need to rekey and no other discipline.
Just for future reference as well, coming from the industry. So these keys have changed over time. They're extremely hard to duplicate. So even if you took them to your local locksmith and said, hey, make 10 of these, it'd be extremely hard to do. Followed by anytime a slot machine is open, it sounds an alarm up in the surveillance. So surveillance automatically looks over and zooms in on who's going into that machine. Now, they may not stay on top of it, but they're certainly going to identify who's going into that machine. So there are alternative security measures beyond that, just for future reference. I really think the rekeying thing was something that was like an employee quit and he's not coming back, you're not getting your keys back, that's rekey. But I just wanted to bring this before the board because there's been a couple other times similar to these minor cases, but I wanted to bring it before the board this time.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
Are casinos, like my own identification, are casinos insured for this sort of loss? Is this a risk that is covered by some matter of insurance as far as the rekey? Yeah, cost. That would be out of pocket.
Yes.
All right, so the motion would be to issue a letter of concern for 1 year, with no other discipline and no need to rekey. Someone want to-
I would move in that. I support that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, let's take a vote. Ms. McBoynton.
Aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslip.
Aye.
Chief March.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. So we appreciate the, candor and responding. And again, it sounds like a potential weakness has been discovered and fixed. Maybe a net positive. All right, so let's move on. We've got a couple consent agreements, which resolves, 9, I think, complaints combined. So move some things off the dashboard. The first one involves GCB 2024 87, 89, and 95. You can see the proposed consent agreement, which sort of outlines the things that occurred, as well as the proposed penalties, which are not insignificant. And Bill, just so we're clear, I mean, this is something that's been negotiated with the licensee, the AG's office. I see that the licensee has signed it.
Correct.
So it's up to us to approve. We could reject it, tell folks to go back. But my inclination is to accept this as the parties have agreed. If anyone has questions.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, in your vote, it would be good to include a motion to amend paragraph 25 to reflect today's date. Just indicates what meeting the board reviewed.
Sure, yeah. All right, any questions about this? Or concerns? Okay.
We need to vote to amend that.
Well, we'd vote to approve it with could be
Including the
addition of the date of today's date in paragraph 25, right? Okay. So it would be to approve the consent agreement for cases GCB 2024 87, 89, and 95 with the modification of inserting today's date in the paragraph 25. So, thank you.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion needed? Okay, take a vote. Ms. May Boynton,
Aye.
Ms. McCusick,
Aye.
Mr. Hanslip,
Aye.
Chief March.
Aye.
I am an aye as well, so get that taken care of. I'll sign it later today, unless you got to print it out.
Yeah, Phil, on the signed copy, I can't go in and edit, put the date in. This will have to go back and get the signature again after I put the date in.
Can I handwrite it?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, you can handwrite it in? Okay, all right.
If you have it printed out, just fill in the date.
Yeah, we'll do it after we
All right.
yes. Sounds good.
Okay, all right, so next up, so this is consent agreement. This would be for cases GCB 2025, 105, 109, 110, 117, and 119. So again, you'll see what's in here. The proposed disciplinary action as a monetary fine. Let me ask, licensee, have any issue being identified? So I'm gonna ask you a question. All right, thanks. Just walk me through, was this the same employee each time? Or these are different employees with these cash boxes?
So, yeah, the cash box obviously very important to us. It's really boiled down to training specific for the whole team. We've also had a little bit of turnover in that department as well. But resources that we've brought in to help on the retraining side, as we've communicated to Director Champion, has come in actually this week to make sure that we're doing reinforcement training with counting of the cash boxes. So that paired with the new team members that have come on board, we feel that reinforcing that training is critical, which we've already and understand the importance of it.
Which licensee is this?
Hollywood.
Thank you. Yeah.
So was any employee disciplined?
To my knowledge, yes.
And is there any tech to prevent this from happening? Putting the wrong box in the wrong machine?
Yeah, we've got various different protocols that we've tried out. It's currently we do not have smart boxes on the floor currently. That's something that we're looking into as a potential technological advancement to help us. So that's number one. Number two, in lieu of that, the processes that we have in place to make sure that we are verifying that every box is accounted for is in place. In this case, it was an error, and hence the follow-up and recourse with the team and training.
And so that involves the sort of 4 issues with putting the boxes in the wrong machine. And there's also an issue where a full slot machine cash box was put on a chair.
Sorry.
Because how's that happen for almost 2 hours?
It shouldn't, of course. And that has been addressed. That is, subsequently since then we've not had a recurring issue, and that's part of our training. When you look at our player services area specifically, just going back to that training piece, we do have a new leader in there currently, and we are training her up as well, and then again bringing in corporate resources as well. So it's an awareness, training, and reiteration of the importance of making sure that we are holding the team accountable.
And then looks in each of these cases, correct or wrong, another employee sort of discovered it,
Yes.
reported it, and these were self-reported to the unit. Or just, okay. Okay. So again, in my opinion, I'm going to approve what's been agree to. Personally, me, I probably would have stepped up fines for each occurrence. It may have led to the same total amount, but you know, I could see this being more substantial. But you know, I think the fact that again, it's hard to control human error. You can have the best training in the world; it's not going to prevent everything. But again, when we approve this, if it happens again, it's going to be a substantial increase, whether the agencies agree or not. I mean, that's I think how I would see it. So I hope that this can be under control moving forward. But you know, my personal opinion is I would agree to what's been worked out here and approve this. But if other board members feel differently, feel free to speak up. Any questions for the licensee or the unit or the AGs? Okay.
Again, Chair, I would include your motion to amend paragraph 24.
Okay. So the motion would be to approve a consent agreement resolving cases GCB 2025 105, 109, 110, 117, and 119 with the modification of inserting today's date in paragraph 24. Which one of my associates wants to?
Still moved.
All right. I'll second it. Let's take a roll call vote. Ms. May Boynton.
Aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslip.
Aye.
Chief March. Aye. I'm an aye as well. So get that taken care of. Again, appreciate, being responsive and taking proactive measures to try to protect this. Thank you. All right. The last one is consent agreement to resolve case GCB 2025-118. And so this one I got questions about. Looks like an alarm alerted in the afternoon, June 12th. It went unnoticed until early morning hours on the 13th. It says the inspector was not notified, was not entered in the surveillance log. So what happened? What happened?
I need to see, so also with surveillance, that's logging the actual incident. Chair Silver, I apologize.
Yeah. And maybe one of the AAGs knows, or Bill could maybe explain to the inspectors sort of what is supposed to happen. Because paragraph 10 says the department's inspector was not notified of the event. The event was not entered in the surveillance log as required by the casino's internal controls. So what should have happened? Somebody have that answer.
Well, this, I presume, is going to be minimum internal controls and also licensing internal controls. And West Discovery. That's right.
What's the alarm? Is it an audible alarm?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that? I guess unnoticed for this long of a period.
It shouldn't be. I'm sorry, I need the information regarding the incident specifically. I don't have it at my disposal right now. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, so I think this may need to go back for further work. Mm-hmm. I need to understand what I'm looking for is sort of where was this? What's the type of alarm? How is it possible? Right? Like, I can't imagine any area of the casino not being visited by somebody in a, well, you know, what, 12-hour period or more.
Right.
So how's that happen? And maybe it's because there was an issue with the alarm or it wasn't working properly. Like, I need more details. So what happened? How much of it was just human error? Or maybe humans didn't know, right? And that there's a tech issue we need to resolve. And then why was the inspector not notified? Again, is this the employee didn't know, right? Just didn't think it needed to be entered, or was trying to keep it under wraps because they knew there was a screw up. I think I need more details. Because just as the facts are, right, and I'm sure there's more in the story, just as it's presented in the consent agreement, seems like a warning is way too late. But maybe there's other circumstances. So what I'd like,
I would have the notes on the incident with you,
Yeah.
so we can provide that.
so what I'd like is for you to get back
Yeah.
with the AAGs or the unit, you know, we need more detail.
Yes, I think, so Melissa McCray, our head of compliance, is on the call right now. She is able to do that. So,
Okay.
I want to see if she is available, if that's okay with you, Chair.
Sure. Melissa, are you on? You want to mute her?
We can't unmute her, we can ask her to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on the call, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. I know she has the information, wasn't able to come today. So.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, Melissa.
Hi. Okay, so this incident, when we're talking about the key watcher alarm in this incident, it's an alarm that sounds in surveillance.
That's right.
And the surveillance agent did actually address the alarm. But what the surveillance agent did incorrectly was he sent an email to Security Command Center, and the Security Command Center did not see the email. So rather than radio the surveillance, the Security Command agent, he emailed the Security Command agent. So we did corrective action with that, and provided that to the surveillance agent who did that. And in this process, we were undergoing some training in surveillance and some changes in processes, which is why this happened. So the key was left in a desk by the slot technician. It was never left the building. It never, it was never taken out of the desk until it was found by security. And if you have any other questions, I can answer those as well.
Thank you, Melissa.
And then, but so once this happened, I guess why was the inspector not notified?
I think we are the one. Well, no, she found it in the log. I'm trying to read my letter right here to see if I can explain that. Yeah. I think Agent Craig found it in the log the next morning. I wasn't even aware that it had happened at that point. And once I was aware it had happened, we were already starting to talk about it and figure out what was happening. And we would have sent the official notification. It was just an oversight by the surveillance agent, sending an email to the command agent rather than doing a radio call. And then when when security and slots investigated and found the key, I'm speaking for them, but I'm sure that they believed that the key had never left the building, which is what the rules state. Yeah. So the key had remained in the building.
Okay, in what instances, I guess, why would they send an email? Like, in what instances would they have been trained to send an email versus radio? It seems like if there's an active alarm, wouldn't you just radio it?
And that's what I mentioned in our response letter, was it was not an ideal handling of the situation, and that we did corrective action with the surveillance agent who sent the email rather than do a radio call.
And to comment on that as well is, thank you, Melissa, was similarly to player services, our leadership transition in surveillance has been pretty significant, as Director Champion and Assistant Director Marty are aware. Again, significant training protocols have been implemented in the department, including right now where we do have corporate support and multiple corporate support over the last few months, assisting our new manager, Nick Bailey, and his relatively new team get up to speed. So as Melissa mentioned, 100% that should be a radio call. We are aware of it, and that has been addressed, reiterated to the team.
Okay. When did the new manager start?
He started in August. But we've also gone through a lot of transition with our team and just rebuilding a lot. Significant change and improvement in our surveillance department, which we're very pleased with, but still on a training journey that we're laser focused on.
This partly due to what you inherited?
There are things that we're working on improvement. I think where we're at now is a much stronger, much more cohesive, communicative department that we feel not only from an infrastructure perspective, but also from a personnel perspective.
Okay. And as part of this may be too far afield, but sort of just the labor market locally, is that struggling in terms of finding folks?
It's tough. It's definitely tough. When we do bring people in, the experience level that we have is low. Very few people have in surveillance, so it's a lot of training that is needed. To reiterate the point of where we pivoted, we have somebody with us now who comes from one of our sister properties who's helping specifically with training, so that Nick can focus on training and the daily operation. But knowing the importance of that, we're doing everything to bring in the right resources.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Helps fill in some of the gaps.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks, Melissa.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that information, I don't know, how do folks feel? So the proposal is to issue a warning, which is, it is a disciplinary action.
But as opposed to what? What's the next level up?
Monetary fine.
There's a warning, there's a reprimand.
In what level? This morning reprimand.
It's a warning, censure, reprimand. There's of course monetary fine that can be issued. Reasons. However, that's something that or like see that agreement that us.
Right. What's your thought, Chief March?
Well, what is it that triggered finally the discovery that the alarm was going off for several hours? But really, I have to tell you, it's a really big gap of risk.
It is.
That it wasn't an hour, like entire shift, like a whole other crew of people probably discovered this thing, right?
Yes. So I'll defer back to Melissa. I know she has the report with her.
Hi. So can you repeat your question?
So what was the triggering event that, if you know, that prompted staff at that early morning hour to finally clear the alarm and investigate the gap?
Because there's multiple different ways that we can see that a key is missing. One is the alarm and surveillance that we mentioned before that was not properly communicated. The other way is by the key watcher system itself, and that alarm was noticed there. And from there, security investigated it and went and found the key.
Well, was the key watch system alerting for all of those hours and it went unnoticed or unaddressed?
I would have to defer to someone else to answer how. I'm sure that it lights up. It's not a system that people are standing around looking at all minutes of the day. So it might be that no one noticed it. But yes, it would light up that there was a key missing for a certain period of time. That was what they noticed and went and searched for the key. Again, the slot technician left the key in the slot technician's office. It never left the property. So we didn't have the alarm. We also have alarms at the doors that sound if the key leaves the property. So we were never, there was no concern ever that a key had left the property. There was just concern that the key was not returned to key watcher timely.
Could the key have left the property undetected and returned in those hours? Is that a gap, or with that key had been detected leaving the property.
The key was under surveillance coverage and it never left the building. But if it had left the building, we have alarms at the door that it would have sounded.
It would have alarmed at the door, which it didn't because it never left property. So that would have been
Right.
a backups, safety nets, and that's it.
Which it did into the previous incident discussed together.
Different facility.
Different
Yeah, it's in
facilities.
this, yes, there's a different facility. This key never left the, so yes, if there was, someone grabbed it and tried to leave the property with that key, it would have alarmed at the door as we would with any other sense.
Thank you. Would you refresh me? What corrective action have you taken in the interim?
Additional training that we've done with the department, which has been key.
Sounds like the employee was disciplined.
Yes, and there was recourse with the employee, which I don't have that exact recourse with me right now, but
What's the nature of the training?
the nature
Or
of the
the nature of the retraining? Was it the conversation or is it a?
It's more than a conversation. I think what we're doing now is really, again, with a lot of new agents coming in, they're brand new. So we have significant training plans, training rotations with everything that's required in surveillance. So there are checklists that the department managers do to ensure that they get up to speed under the supervision of those managers. And as I reiterated earlier, we know that we need additional resource. So since August and even prior to that, we have brought in additional experts across the country within our casino portfolio to assist the team. And we'll continue to do that simply because it's a very new team that we're continuing to grow in. And to confidently also say, and I'll defer to Melissa if she has any further commentary on this, we feel that our team now is in a much stronger position with both personnel, training protocols, and accountability within the department.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we can approve the consent agreement, which would issue form of disciplinary action. It would be awarded, which obviously any further violation would step up from there, or we can send it back. And folks are gonna have to negotiate it.
I'm satisfied that this will appropriately memorialize the action of the board, not move to pass it as proposed.
All right, so to back up the motion will be to adopt consent agreement, resolve case number 2025-118 with paragraph 13 amended, insert today's meeting date.
So
Second. Okay, let's take a vote. Ms. Mayne Boyington.
Aye.
Ms. McCusack.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslett.
Aye.
Chief March.
Aye.
I am an aye as well. So get that taken care of. Again, appreciate the extra information. Yeah. Hopefully things get worked out. Thank you. All right. With that, we have one request for removal from the exclusion list. All right. So this is patron A. You can see the letter. There's actually two letters, so I'm guessing someone reached out and said, "Hey, we need more information."
Yes.
Okay. Completed the self-exclusion interview with Lori Manson. See the explanation, and they have been excluded 5 years, so that's how they come off the lifetime. Any questions, discussion needed on this? Okay. With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request for self-exclusion A to be removed from the lifetime exclusion list.
I move to approve.
Thanks. All right, I'll second it. Take a vote. Ms. Mayne Boyington.
Aye.
Ms. McCusack.
Aye.
Mr. Hanslett.
Aye.
Chief March.
Abstain.
I am an aye, so patron A will come off of the list. All right, then with that, under board business, I mentioned this at the last meeting, that I was gonna put together a letter to send to the governor regarding LD 1164, which is an act to the iGaming bill, call it. So I circulated that to board members just prior to this meeting. Hopefully, folks had a chance to review it. We could discuss any edits, modifications, people who do not want to be involved. But you know, I think there's a real threat here to a number of issues with this bill. So I think it may go a long way for the board based on what we heard from our licensee the last meeting about the real threat to their businesses and their employees from this bill. So, you know, the point I made is we may feel differently about legalizing iGaming. I probably differ from the licensees that I actually support iGaming, just not in this format. That cuts them out. I think everyone should have an opportunity to get a license, whether it be the casinos and tribes, whatever. But sort of creating this monopoly, I think will have extreme effects on Maine employees, as well as all of the tax cascade recipients. Because the problem with this bill is it doesn't mirror the recipients. So whether it's a 1% loss or the potential 10 to 16% loss, in my opinion, it's a huge impact to all those recipients. So I plan on sending this up to other board members who want to join on or have things you want to add or change. I'll open up the floor.
Is this not a letter that should be sent by the board with
if we vote to do it, we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, but otherwise you'll send it on our letterhead.
Yeah. Unless there's majority who do not want it sent, in which case it will not go, and I'll send it first. But my thought was to provide somewhat of a unified front. You know, obviously, look, the legislature can do what they want to do. Even if the governor vetoes it, they can override it. They tried to do that with sports betting a few years ago. It didn't work. But I don't know. I think we have a responsibility because again, we're tasked by statute to regulate slots, table games, electronic table games. My opinion, that's exactly what this is. It's just a different format. So anyway, anyone have any comments?
I'd like to propose a motion.
Okay.
See how the vote goes. I'd like to propose a motion that the board in unity sign on and support. I think the letter is very comprehensive, so I'd like to see a motion that we as a board support and fix our signatures to this letter for forwarding to the governor. All right, Mr. Chair.
I'll move for it. It's my letter. Someone want to second this?
I'll second it.
All right. Should we take a vote?
So, any further discussion?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Ms. Mayboy,
Aye.
Ms. McCusick,
Aye.
Mr. Hanson,
Aye.
Chief March. I'm an aye as well. So I will get this signed. It's sent out, and look, this is something into the next year that, quite frankly, I think we can do more of. We haven't had a full board in a while, right? We now have consecutive meetings of a full board of folks who are experienced now and knowledgeable, and I think we can get a little more involved in what I think has been a tortured gaming policy. from the legislature, but there's a lot, as you can tell, just from this, just in the past 3 months, all of a sudden we got prediction markets that people can gamble on anything, not need a license. I mean, it's nuts. So who knows? 3 months from now, there may be some new tech we don't even know about. So I'll get this sent out. And, hopefully it gets read. Maybe it doesn't, but at least we did what we could. I think we owe that to our licensees and their employees. So thanks.
Thank you.
Any public comment? Go ahead.
Got two items, bring to your attention. One, on October
Hold
31st.
on. Can you use the podium?
Oh,
So don't pick up on the.
sure. All right. On October 31st, we were notified by Gaming Partners International that they had sold their dice manufacturing business to TCS John Huxley. At that time, TCS John Huxley was not an approved vendor by the state. They are working at getting their license in, or their application in for license. They weren't able to get it in for this meeting. We are getting to the point where there's a threat that we could run out of dice by the end of February, which means we will close our craps tables down. So there's a couple of options that we discussed with executive director who suggests that we bring it to the board. One is to put in a order with TCS John Huxley without their license, not to be shipped until after they're licensed. The other option is to see if they would be able to work with GPI to work as a middleman, since they're very familiar with this process until their license is approved. Sadly, there appear to be no other dice manufacturing facilities.
That's surprising. Is there any mechanism for a temporary license? So what is this, we may not know, what's the nature of the corporate sale? Like, this is already closed?
Yeah, we were told after it was done, because we were trying to place an order since early September, but at that point, GPI was working on their renewal. We were caught off guard.
What risk is there to you if we were to allow you to place the order in advance and then approve them? How much time?
Generally, would you agree that's about an 8 to 10 week process of manufacturing?
Yeah, that's typically how it is for most equipment, particularly, yes.
So if they were to not get approved for February, we're in the same spot we're in. We wouldn't pay for them until after they were delivered anyways. But
Okay. Well, I think the risk is the order of they get delivered. They either don't follow through with their license application or it gets denied. And then you're in violation.
But we would not get delivery from them until they were licensed.
Got it. Okay.
If we used a middle company like Genesis or GPI, they can technically act as the middleman and be on the response.
Okay, and GPI is licensed.
GPI is licensed currently.
Okay. Can we go that route? Any issues with that? No.
I mean, I think they put the order in, which we get all the shipment approvals and that sort of thing. So if GPI puts the order in, what they do, with their own business is up to them. But the approval or the request of the application that I received is a request from GPI to deliver dice. So John Huxley won't even be named in this. If the dice come in, the dice are not correct or not calibrated correctly or they're not manufactured correctly, that would be on GPI as the licensee, but not John Huxley. Now, John Huxley, as of this morning, we have not received an application from them yet. So even if we were to get one today, we probably wouldn't put it before the board because I understand John Huxley is international as well. So it probably would not, that application would probably not become before the board until at least April. So that puts all this into a mess. Because
Yeah, what are they dragging their feet for? I don't know. So, okay, this is somewhat of a tangent. There's one dice manufacturer in the US.
Used for ever.
Really? Seemed ripe for like an Ocean's 11 type. That's crazy. Yeah, maybe I should start manufacturing dice.
well, there's calibration tools and there's certain things when the dice come in, we look at those as well as we do with slot machines. So
Yeah, I mean, I think your only option is to hope that because GPI is going to have to shoulder risk, right? So even if they act as get the orders and there's something wrong with these dice, it's on them, right? I mean, so their question is if they're going to shoulder the risk for you, then fine. But that's they got to make that decision. And I don't know what channels you can work, but the new company has to get an application. And
We're in contact with the regulator.
yeah, because my guess is that the prior one isn't going to want to keep doing this, you know. And so at some point, if that application isn't in, or there's some issue that we need further investigation or whatever, you're gonna run out, you know. So I think if they're willing to facilitate this transaction in an interim period, then fine.
can I also ask a question? I didn't ask this before because when it came up and I was like, oh no, we got to go to the board for this. Any other jurisdictions? What are they doing?
Well, they're approved in the other jurisdictions. They just had never had a license in Maine.
So Huxley's approved in the other jurisdictions, they just haven't submitted for Maine.
Correct.
Seems a little odd if you're buying something from GPI and you have to put in applications. Unless Huxley anticipated it early and then submitted to certain states. And now they're playing catch up, maybe. I don't know.
Sounds like they've historically.
Yes. Historically with Maine, with two casinos, there's not a large volume of dice that's being purchased annually.
Okay.
So I can see it being an oversight.
So at one point there was two, Huxley and GPI.
No, I don't believe Huxley manufactured the dice. I think Paulson was bought by GPI bought Paulson.
And for us, we've had live crafts, just as an example, we've only had live crafts since the summer, since pre-2020. So just to reiterate that point, we're just coming into that now. So
Also, just Googling, it looks like they didn't do this until the end of November. They bought.
Yeah.
That deal even closed. So they're less than a month from this acquisition. So I'm sure the Maine license is not high on their list, would be my guess. But it doesn't look. Again, GPI is going to assume the risk and facilitate it great, but time is of the essence because I'd hate for this to hit summer months and you're out of luck.
Agreed.
I think it's all could be done. All right. Is there another issue?
Pennies.
Yeah.
As you may be aware that the penny is going away. Well, we currently have sufficient to get us through the next few months. At some point, we're not going to be able to pay out in pennies. Our request is to be approved or allowed to pay rounding up to the nearest nickel.
Yeah, so I've seen a bunch of businesses start doing this. There's actually a grocery store chain in my hometown that was paying people double.
Oh, really?
So if you bring in your pennies, you can get double gift cards, which was shocking. People
Not 5 times good.
I suggest
Yeah, that's,
You could, I mean, look, hey, give some free play out, right, for bringing Penny in. You'll get a lot. So how imminent is this?
for us, we've got several months worth, but.
So what I'd like to see, if it can wait till February, is sort of what your proposal is. Like, I assume you're gonna need to notify, you're gonna have posters, or you're gonna send some communication.
Honestly, it's just the transaction having,
Yeah,
services.
right.
Because our kiosks do not have a change at this point. So when somebody hits a jackpot, we would round it up to the nearest nickel. When somebody redeems a ticket for a voucher, we will round it up to the nearest nickel. It's on us. It's not going to impact the
Okay,
state revenue.
all right, because I've seen some where it's, if it's 01 or 02, they round it down.
Yeah, we will not round it up.
Ours would also round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but there still needs to be notice to folks that you're doing that. I'm telling you that there needs.
Okay.
I get it. It's, you're being more generous, but I think people need to know. You could just put a simple poster up in the cage.
Absolutely.
And just say effective whatever date. We're gonna start doing this. Okay. That's my only concern. I get it. It's more generous to the player, but like, it's gonna solve headaches. Because some person's gonna show up and be like, what's going on here? And ask questions. They're gonna email Bill. It's gonna be a thing. Just put a poster up. Tell people a month in advance this is happening. Right? Or a couple weeks. But just give people notice. Because it doesn't matter what the change is. Someone's gonna complain about it.
Understood.
So let's try to minimize it. Any other thoughts on it, Bill?
Yeah, just, have you anticipated how it would affect revenue reporting?
It should just be a variance carried in the cage as far as on the redemption side. The reporting side, we're still going to go with the reporting. Right. So if a cashier is 22 cents off for the day, if they have, that's not going to impact the revenue.
Well, how, and are the redemption machines programmed to do that?
The redemption machines are programmed to spit out a voucher for any change. Same thing with our jackpot kiosks.
So if I've got the slot ticket 2002, I take it to the machine. It's going to give me a $20 bill with a ticket for the 2 cents.
Yeah.
And in theory, put the 2 cents in your donation box at the top, but they could. But they could bring it to the cage. They're going to get a nickel instead of 2 pennies. Sounds like an accounting headache to me, but you always.
Well, it's the new reality of the world.
I get it. If y'all can work it out, but I mean, I've seen it at McDonald's and the other stuff. They're all
coming along a lot of places.
They're all doing this.
Yeah, at this point, until the slot manufacturers figure out how to change their programming to round to a nickel, this is going to be impacting the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Is the industry getting rid of penny games? Even though I know they're not penny games. Penny denom.
I can't imagine.
That'll be around.
Penny denom, but you have to pay at least 45 coins.
Well, there's no penny wager.
No,
You have to wait for at least a nickel. Play the pennies.
I don't know. Listen, you think about to run them. Have one of your people run the math. Say, bring in every penny you bring in. We'll give you free play for double it. Get a lot of pennies, but there's not really a choice. You're gonna. I mean, I don't know what else they could do.
Yeah.
I think it just has to be squared away on the financial side as to what that looks like because.
Just the variance category.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect revenue for the state. It's just, you're taking the hit, here's the variance, because they have to report a certain level of variance. Now you can get, was it $100? You have to report it, there's a variance but it's gonna be pennies.
Yeah.
In a subcategory.
Yeah. All right, well. Good luck. Yeah, yeah. All right, any other issues? Any public comment from Zoom? Okay. So currently, we're not meeting in January. The next meeting is set. So it's February 17th. Let me ask now for the board. That's the day after President's Day. Is it also that school vacation? So would it? I could move. I mean, we could do it the week before or the week after. I just know that week is tricky for folks.
We'll be back in our new suite, so we got our own place. You can have it any day, anytime you want.
All right. Well, so let me ask the board.
Let me suggest February 10th. Does that suit everyone? 1 week earlier? We'll take off.
It's fine with me. That's okay. So can we change it to the 10th? It also gets us to some of those issues earlier. Milt, is that okay?
Sure.
Just because, I don't know, people coming back from the holiday, I'm pretty sure the kids are off school that week. So, well, the 17th is the holiday. That's right. So we're going to move it to the 10th. Obviously, we'll keep everyone advised, snow or whatever else, if we have to go virtual or move it again, but plan on the 10th. Okay. We'll be back in the old or the new conference room.
Yes.
The prior conference room. All right. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. You're not going to second it? All right, I'll second it. Take a vote. Ms. May Boyson.
Aye.
Ms. McCusick.
Aye.
Mr. Hanson.
Aye.
March. Aye. I'm an aye as well. It is 10:44. We are adjourned.